Streaming cyberspace into your place from South Boston Speedway YesterYear Racing, where past meets present, introduces 1966 to the now with the running of the Old Dominion 267. It's round 7 of 15 on the YesterYear Tour Modified Series Season 2 schedule, and bringing you the live as it happens green to checkered flag coverage is your favorite choice for sim race broadcasting, the Virtual Gift Network. A warm Virginian hello and welcome on this Tuesday night, May 3rd, 2025. The institution, a.k.a. Short Track Baltimore, a.k.a. J.R. Shepherd, joins yours truly, Bill. Virginia's Rapid Ray Hendrick take the lead on lap 166 and drive his 1937 Chevy to victory at South Boston Speedway. And tonight we return to the virtual reality and on a virtual representation of that very same track where Hendrick earned his first place prize of $1,000. YesterYear drivers will go 267 laps in hopes to take the next step toward winning not $1,000, but rather the most unique trophy among any league on the iRacing platform, the prestigious Old Red Boot. So I've given you the flavor of the race. Now let me reintroduce my partner, J.R. Shepherd, to give you the nuts and bolts of how things are going to go tonight. J.R.?
Yeah, Soup. Tonight's going to be tough for these drivers. Man, South Boston, it's a 4/10 of a mile oval. They've got long, sweeping corners around this place. That means tonight these drivers are going to be turning left more than anything, more than usual. That alone is going to be fatiguing to these drivers, but more importantly, it's going to be mentally exhausting. And on top of that, this place, it's a bull ring, meaning contact is going to occur at some point tonight, whether you want to or not. These Tour Modifieds, they tend to get loose on entry, push slightly in the center of the corner, and then want to snap loose again on exit as you're under throttle. So it is very, very easy to get into a car that is on your outside of this place. But Soup, this place, it can get very narrow also, especially on the straights. If we see contact tonight coming out of one of these corners, it might just collect and end a lot of these drivers' night. I know that will be on the minds of all of these drivers here tonight.
Ninth hails the field of 23. And let's go ahead and take this opportunity to take a look at the points. And tonight's Points Peak is brought to you by our sponsor, IBM Selectric Typewriters, the best thing to happen to typing since electricity. All right, now league organizers enlist the help of an open AI called Hubble to make predictions on each race's upcoming outcome. Known as Hubble, here's what I like to think of her as she thinks of the chances for the drivers in the top 10 tonight. Now, despite a stellar stats, because of a small sample size, Thomas Gogo Ogle is predicted to go home in 6th. Not even considered a dark horse is Papa Kenny Allen. With a win, 54 top 10s, and an average finish of just under 9th and 8 poles, she likes Todd Liston to finish just off the podium. Clean, solid, and with potential is how Brian Johnson is described. She likes him to finish 8th. Of the drivers inside the top 10, Hubble's top pick is Jeffrey Harden. Scott Negus is predicted 10th. And as much as I think Negus is much better than that, I'm not going to disagree, fearing that Hubble, when she becomes self-aware, and gains power will find me disloyal and act with some type of malice towards me when that time comes. Bruce Pearson and Brian Bianchi are both called dark horses. No arguments there for me, sweetie. Nice call there. Daryl Weiniger and Jeffrey Lemire, well, they're both off of her radar. And darling, don't take this wrong, but predicting that Brian Neff to win and Lowell Jewell to finish on the podium, that's just plain lunacy. That said, remember, I'm just a puny human, so please, when the time comes, be merciful. All right, qualifying is done. Let's go ahead and give you this. Oh, it's going to wait just a minute on this one. Standard rules here tonight. We're going a long way, 267 laps. You want tires? You got as many tires as you want because we're doing 1966 rules. And in those days, you could come to the tire with a whole truckload. Come to the track with a whole truckload of tires. You want a lucky dog? Hey, 1966. The only thing about a lucky dog was like a dog that got a bone. There's no lucky dog here tonight. No wave arounds. This is old time racing, baby. You break it, you bought it, though. No fast repairs. All right, with that said, they're gridding up. Let's go ahead and make sure Jay and I get our VGN commentators bonus for getting through the entire field before they go green. Rex Hoyle, based on qualifying, will be starting on the pole. He's going to be flanked by Thomas Gogo Ogle.
Yeah, rolling off inside of row 2, Brian Bianchi. Outside, Luke Logan Allen.
From north of the border, it's Scott Negus. He's my pick to win tonight. Todd Liston will be starting in 6th.
Rolling off in 7th place, we've got Jerry Isaacs. On the outside in 8th, Ken Allen.
All right, Hubble's favorite driver is Jeffrey Harden, starting in 9th. William Martin going to be in 10th.
Yeah, inside row 6, we got Brian Johnson. Outside in 12th position, Brian Neff. Look for him to try to make some ground up. He's predicted to do well here tonight.
That's true. And of course, let me correct myself. Next is, of course, Hubble's favorite driver. Torrance Childs will be starting in the Baker's dozen spot with Alan Wanamaker flanking him.
Inside row 8, we got Dave Batone. On the outside in 16th, Jeff Lemire.
The chief, former police chief of Plain City, Ohio, Stephen Hilbert, will be starting in 17th. He's going to be inside of Randy Schuler.
Rolling off in 19th place, we got Tom Hilbert. On the outside in 20th, Bruce Pearson.
Hidden blackjack, it's John Hastings. And in the double deuce spot is the Lipper, Chris Hazlip. 22 drivers are here tonight. That's a nice, healthy field. There's one more driver, and he didn't grid, so we just have 22. With that said, it's time to start rolling, boys. Glad you are with us. We have lots of filler information. We have 267 laps. We expect to go 260 green flag laps, so hopefully we won't need our filler. But stick around for those. We got some good trivia questions for you tonight that we'd like you to participate in, both you and the viewers on YouTube here in the YouTube chat. Trade lap is done. They will be stopping for fuel. They cannot go the whole way on one tank. I don't know what fuel in one of these Tour Modifieds is like. We're going to find out. All right, the Pace truck is going to pull down in, giving control of the field over to Rex Hoyle. You know what to do. Gather at the chicken's head, covering on the cows because the horses are out of the barn. And it's Hoyle that's going to try to lead them. But look at them. Go Ogle around the top. He rolls. We've got the number 13 out in front.
Yeah, that's something we can expect here tonight at South Boston. That outside groove will work, especially when you are side by side with another driver. So look for drivers to do that. But very easy to make contact. That inside car is going to push up on you.
Luke Logan Allen, Kid Lemon Line, the number 6, stuck to the outside, trying to find a spot. Scott Negus is having none of it. He's got him pinned out there. The battle continues for 4th. Another battle a little farther back. We'll look at that one a little. Todd Liston in the mix. He's trying to get to the inside of Jeffrey Harden. A couple BRLers out there. They get it sorted out.
Yeah, and when we were here earlier this year, Jeffrey Harden, he came home in 2nd place, but Todd Liston dominated most of that race. Over half of the laps led, so both of these drivers, they know how to get it done here.
Almost the entire field single file. The guy stuck on the outside, William Martin, he gets that sorted out, and he tucks in behind the number 60 of Brian Neff. Neff in 11th, Martin in 12th.
Yeah, and right now we look back up front. Tom Ogle, he has got the best seat in the house because he is leading this race. He has control of it, and that is the best thing that you can do in a long race like this, because you can set that pace, you can run the line you want to run, and ultimately you can take care of those tires and give you options when we do have a caution or when we do have to make a pit stop.
We ride on board with our leader looking back. Count back about 8 cars and you'll get to Alan Wanamaker. He's currently racing in 9th position. He's up 2 spots. Believe it or not, that's our big mover. Passing is at a premium here. 2 spots will make you the big mover early on.
Yeah, and right now you can see most of this field, they are single filed out. It's a 267 lap race. Drivers are trying to get into a rhythm right now. They're not looking to race super hard. They want to turn some laps, see what their car is doing, but more importantly, they want to pay attention to the cars around them, see how those drivers in front of them are handling or mishandling, so they can make opportunities for passes later on.
Everybody getting down to single file. The director knows when I see cars lined up in a single file, it makes me yearn for a particular camera shot. Let's see if he can read my mind again. There it is! Boom! Boom! I love them single file as they go by. 22 cars lined up like Pasadena on New Year's Day.
And the thing I liked about that shot also, Soup, is that it starts to show you the marbles that are forming on the top side of the track. They're left over from practice right now, but as this race goes on, those marbles are going to start to come further and further down the track because we're getting so much buildup. Right now, that outside line is super fast, but late in the race, it's going to be a very fine margin on the line that you run in order to stay out of those marbles.
Okay, page 17 of the VGN Commentator's Handbook says, when the driver that's paying your wages for the night is also the big mover, you got to put the camera on him. So let's go ahead and give Alan Wanamaker a little bit of screen time in the number 9. He started in 11th, made up those spots.
Yeah, and this is a good view to ride on board and kind of show those at home what it looks like out on the track, but also the line that Alan's running. So if you notice, he is not diving straight into these corners. He's doing a little bit of an arc. He's doing a late entry in order to get more of a straight exit on the corner, so that way you can apply that throttle. So these Tour Modifieds, they've got a lot of horsepower, very easy to get squirrely or loose as you apply that throttle on exit. The one way you can make up for it is to come off the corner straight like we see Alan doing here.
Let me give you the straight dope. Wanamaker started in 14th, up to 12, able to make his way around William Martin and Torrance Childs. Well, Hubble liked Brian Neff. I thought she was a little bit optimistic about that one, but maybe not. Neff up 2 spots as well. Starting in 10th, racing, starting in 12th, racing in 10th, and now looking at Todd Liston. Let's give one more to Neff in the 60.
Yeah, and the one thing that I'd seen the last time that we raced here, Todd was one of those drivers, even though he led a lot of laps, when the time came for faster drivers to come up and take that lead away from him, he was willing to give it. He's not going to drive faster than what that car is willing to give him right now. He'll be there back at the end of the race, but he's not going to worry about it right now.
I've been covering a lot of broadcasts with Brian Neff when I first started at VGN long time ago. Brian Neff, of course, in the Bootleg Racing League, he was a very aggressive driver then. Really wasn't his fault because he was new to racing modifieds and he misunderstood. He thought the Nerf bar was called the Neff bar, and he thought it was his own weapon to knock people out of the way. And we're back live. Look at that spin.
Yeah, definitely. Just a driver from the top side there. I believe that was Baton. And yeah, just got way up the track. Now we've got a full course caution out on the raceway.
John Hastings had an issue. He just kind of drifted up. This almost looks like a mechanical problem here. The 32 just kind of drifts up. And the number 6 of Kid Lemon Lime, Luke Lowe Canallen, had nowhere to go. Just kind of runs into the back of him there as he's parked on the side.
Yeah, so this is something that is a little bit common with South Boston. So if you're that high on corner exit, right where you start to see those marbles at the top, if you're that high on corner exit, the car pushes so bad that you can do nothing but just get off the throttle and try to turn the car as much as you can. In return, it slows you way down. And if there's a car like Luke Logan carrying a lot of steam behind you, they're not going to be able to avoid you.
Okay, JR, tires are free. Give me the number. In line, the first driver to come in. How far back are they going to come in here?
I would think it's going to be outside the top 10, in my opinion. We still got 19 cars on the lead lap. We don't have a whole lot of laps on these tires. Somebody may come in and try to get some fuel, but I would think if anybody comes in, they're going to be around 15th or further back.
Nobody. Are the pits open? Nobody's coming in. I see no reason not to come in if you're in the very back. Nope.
I would definitely take the opportunity to get some fuel. Even if I'm not going to come in and take tires, I would top off every chance that I get, even if it's early, because these cars take an extremely long amount of time to fuel.
Well, let's dial. Can we get to Bruce Pearson? Is he available? Can we talk to him real quick? I'm going to give him some advice. Bruce, it's Soup. Get in there. Get some new tires and some fuel, baby. Come on, you're at the back.
No, I'm good. I'm good, Soup.
All right. Good luck to you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
He's going to live to regret it.
Yeah. I know you tried to help. The thing is, these things take a long time to fuel, so I would be all about getting fuel if I'm running in the back, because there is the potential that when we get a caution later on, those drivers further in the pack can actually go a lap down while trying to get a full tank.
All right. What do they know? All right, single file restart. We go green. Working lap number 28. We got through that yellow caution period so much, we didn't think about giving you the trivia question. Let's set the table for you. It's Thomas Ogle up in front. Rex Hoyle. Of course, VGN knows Rex Hoyle, racing in the Red Light Racing League. Out there in the number 52. Another Red Light racer is Brian Bianchi. North of the border, Scott Negus, racing in fourth. Jerry Isaacs with a beautiful number 51 painted on the top of that car. Looks really slick.
It does, and he's a driver that is another one that knows how to get around here. He led a good amount of laps early in this race at the beginning of the year, but had issues, got caught up in an accident that caused him to have a poor finish. So he's looking to rebound from that race and show everyone what he can ultimately do around this place.
Mr. Director, can we put up the tower real quick and show the guys the big movers here? There's not much of them. Drivers who are up only a couple spots at most. Jerry Isaacs, Kenny Allen, Jeffrey Harden up 2. Hey, Brian Neff. Hubble knows what she's talking about. Up 4 spots.
Yeah, you know, you talked a little bit about Neff earlier, and, you know, this is the type of track I think that kind of fits his driving style. You've got to be aggressive with this car while at the same time taking care of it, and that's hard to explain, but this car is going to be moving around a lot, and you have to be comfortable with that car moving around, staying in the throttle while doing it, and a lot of drivers just don't want to do that early on. You see that Nerf bar right there in the middle of the corner? That was not intentional contact, but it's what I talked about in the pre-race. You will see contact around this place. It's incidental, it's going to happen, and you just have to carry on.
It's the Neff bar, baby, on the number 60. He is chasing Jeffrey Harden. Based on AI, those are your 2 favorites. Harden and Neff right now. Running 7th and 8th. Everybody's been out there the entire time. I look down at driver. One driver that made a stop, is he still on the lead lap, is John Hastings. He is not on the lead lap, no.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's all going to depend on how these cautions work out. You obviously cannot pit under green flag conditions unless you absolutely have to. That would be running out of fuel, so you've got to stay out there on track until you get a break. But my opinion is that we're going to see drivers try to ultimately go at least 90 laps on a set of tires. I do not see them wanting to take tires earlier than that unless they kind of have the idea or feeling that we have a green flag race going. And so far, we've only had the 1 caution in these 40 laps. So you got to kind of take opportunities, but at the same time, I think these drivers are planning to stay out for a while.
And we got ourselves a caution. This one, I think, involved Rex Hoyle. Yeah, it's 54 is Hoyle, and I think he spun and got, and then the 81 of found him. That was Kenny Allen.
Yeah, and there's Steve Hilbert getting loose on corner entry, and that's something that these Tour Modifieds do. They do get loose under braking, especially as the tires get hot, but he kind of spun a little bit and then went down and hit the inside wall, so it didn't affect anyone else at that moment. Rex Hoyle here, on the other hand, he did the opposite. Instead of getting loose on corner entry, it was on corner exit. What that did is that heated up those rear tires, and that makes that corner entry looseness even worse the next time you go in there. It's hard to do, but when you get loose like that on corner exit, you really got to back it down on the next entry. Otherwise, that car will come around on you like we saw there for Hoyle.
That 14 car was Brian Bianchi, who got on the binders and let stuff clear. All right. Anybody coming down pit lane? This is nonsense. Unless it's not open yet. We have 3 drivers who are out of the race so far. We started with 22, 19 still out there on the track. And we only have 2 drivers. We started with 22. There was a 23rd driver that did not take the grid. So we're down to 20. 18 on the lead lap. I don't understand why. I'm going to give a name here. Thomas Hilbert, get in there. Take some fuel and some fresh rubber. JR, do you think it's because maybe guys in the back can't get it done on one lap under caution?
It's definitely on their minds, and that's something that you almost have to simulate before the race so you kind of know how long it takes. But definitely, I would have come down pit road and just tested that. Came down and got fuel, seen how long I could stay before I went a lap down.
All right, here we go. We're at lap number 45. It's number 13, Thomas Gogo Ogle out in front. We've only had 1 leader so far. It's the 13 being chased by the 14 of Brian Bianchi.
Yeah, Brian's pretty racy here on this restart. He tried to get that over-under done coming off of turn 2 on the initial lap. He's still moving around, so he's looking for grip. He's trying to do something different than Tom up there, but look at the ground that Tom makes on corner exit. He's just able to find the grip and get the launch that he needs, and that's where you're going to make the speed around this racetrack, being able to get up out of the corners better than the people around you.
Perhaps it was because of the single file restart compared to the double file that we had that started the race, but I noticed on that last green flag run, the cars got strung out really far, really quick, and in fact, Olga was just about to come up on the back markers. He was going to have to deal with some lap traffic, so we'll keep that in mind here. They've been out there 48 laps on this set of tires, 48 laps on this tank of fuel.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You know, we kind of talked about Tom's out front. He's kind of dictating the pace of this race at the moment. But the one thing he doesn't want to do is have Brian Bianchi right behind him when he catches lap traffic. So that's what Tom's trying to do right now. He's trying to open up a little bit of a gap so he's got some breathing room when he comes up on lap vehicles in 10, 15, 20 laps. He's got time to make a move and maneuver around those drivers without having the risk of getting up past himself.
Okay, quickly, let's put the camera, if we could, on car number 25. This is Tom Hilbert. We're hearing me yell at him, trying to give him some advice to come in and take tires. Maybe he knows best. He's having a nice run, up 4 spots. Younger brother of Steve, having a nice run right now. Minding his own business back there, following Torrance Childs in the 5.
Yeah, and you can see he's running a little bit different line. He's running higher up the racetrack than what a lot of these drivers are doing, but this is a place that you can definitely do that. You can run that second line and still turn fast lap times around here. And as we talked about earlier, when you get side by side with the driver, that's normally going to be the preferred line as long as you don't overdrive the center of the corner.
Car number 99, David Patone. Down low. Patone on the bottom. Yeah. Looks like he has damage, just kind of circling around right now, trying to stay out everybody ways. Now he moves to the top.
Yeah, he's 4 laps down right now, but you know, this is one of those deals. We've talked about it in all the series that we follow, and the bottom line is that if you're racing for points, if you're trying to have yourself a good points position, sometimes the biggest nights are the nights where you capitalize on a bad run. So right now he's having a bad run, but he's trying to turn those laps and get as many points as he possibly can. It's early in this race. There's a lot of drivers that could have issues that he could eventually pass.
Best battle on the track right now is behind Scott Negus. Jerry Isaac, Kenny Allen, Jeffrey Harden, all lined up. Man on the move, Brian Neff. Last car in that train, Brian Johnson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars from third on back. A little bit of a gap back to Kid Lemon Lime. And the number 6, Luke Logan Allen. For those who don't know, that's the young son of Papa Kenny Allen.
Yeah, and so we're starting to see all of those drivers that the last time we were here, the drivers that finished up toward the front, they're making their way up there right now. Brian Bianchi, he won the last time we were here. He's running up there in 2nd place. Jeffrey Harden, he came home in 2nd last time, and he's in 6th. And also, we got Brian Johnson. You just spoke about him. He's running in 8th place right now. So a lot of these drivers, they're starting to move forward. Again, they're being patient about it because we are early in this race, but they're starting to make their way forward and position themselves, for the end of this race.
Now, we talked about Luke Logan Allen. Let's talk about his dad, Kenny Allen. Right now, he races in 5th. I've noticed he's had a hard time keeping the car down. In fact, he's lost touch with the 2 drivers in front, Negus and Isaac. Got a little bit of a gap right now back to Jeffrey Harden. Harden continued to be pestered like a little sister by Brian Neff. I'm not touching you, says Brian.
Yeah, and Brian's up on the wheel. He's trying to make this pass. Now, Jeffrey's trying to be smooth because he knows what it's going to take tire-wise to have something to work with at the end of a race. At a place like this, but Brian is intending to move forward, so Brian's pushing hard. You can see that car really pushing up on corner exit and the rear end wanting to step out slightly. He's trying to make those moves, but this is a place that it is difficult to pass. You certainly can do it, but it is difficult to pass. And right now, Neff's trying to figure out where Jeffrey has the biggest weakness so he can try to make that move. But right now, Jeffrey's holding a good wheel.
Okay, it's time for a lipper alert. Let's go ahead and look at Chris Hazlip as he goes a lap down. Now, this is an opportunity for the 14 of Bianchi, and we got a caution. Oh, lipper, you just went a lap down, and there's no wave arounds in 1966. This caution, look, you got it, JR?
Yeah, I saw Tom Hilbert have issues, and then Torrance Childs right behind him. So yeah, so it is going to be Tom Hilbert by himself getting loose in the center of the corner. Torrance tries to miss him, goes up the track, but still gets clipped in that left rear. That spins him out, and I'm afraid that may end up putting Torrance, and it did indeed put him 1 lap down, trying to get turned back around. So it's going to be a long night for him to try to make that up.
Finally, some people have decided that it's time to come down pit lane, and there's some big names doing it. How about your 2 leaders? Gogo Ogle, Brian Bianchi both coming down. Kid Lemon Lime, Jeff Mir coming down as well. They roll out. Take a look to see who stays out there. Now this is Brian Johnson, Bruce Pearson, who we talked to earlier, but I said, Bruce, it's time to pit. Well, he's decided now he's going to come down, I guess.
Yeah, I believe Brian Johnson's going to be the only car that decided to stay out there. So it'll be interesting. He knows how to get around this track for sure. So right now he's trying to get himself some extra track position. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Well, the good news is, I believe, now I don't know how they did it in 1966, but I think perhaps is the 27. Is that car a lap down? Is that, no, that, oh no, I'm looking there. That's Brian Johnson. Now Chris Hazlip So I wonder, does Chris get the wave around in 1966? The answer is no.
Yeah, there are no wave rounds at all. So yeah, Chris is still going to be in a bad position there. So yeah, once you effectively go a lap down, you have to run your race racing those that are a lap down, because otherwise you're just never going to have the benefit of staying out. You're going to lose tires and fuel there.
Is this old school rules? I'm going to just take a guess at this. Lap cars on the inside lap. You know, Hazlip says, I've had enough of this. And he just rolls. In fact, the pace car is in. Are we under green? We are green. Okay. Hazlip will be there because he ducked to the inside. All right. Brian Johnson out in front on some very old rubber. He's got the cream of the crop behind him. Tom Ogle. How long will it take for the 13 to get around Johnson? It cannot be more than a lap or two. He's got to make it quick because you've got Jerry Isaacs who would like to get that spot. Would be good.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what Ogle does here. Obviously, he wants the lead if he can get it, but I'm not sure how hard he's going to push because, you know, we're single file. If a caution comes back out, the worst thing is that he's going to be right where he's running again. But like you said, he does have Jerry Isaacs behind him, and Isaacs led laps here the last time that we raced, so Isaacs has speed. He's one of those drivers that does not always qualify well, but he immediately gets to the front, and that's what he's done in this race.
Something tells me Ogle is only going to race as hard as Isaacs and Negus makes him right now. As I say that, he takes a peek to the inside. Ogle spies, Ogle tries, but Johnson denies. Now coming out of 4, he gets a good bite down on the inside. Johnson stuck up top. Good night, nurse. There's one. Can Johnson duck down in there? He could, but he's wise enough to not try it. He's going to stay up talking. He sees the writing on the wall here.
Yeah, and that's smart racing. I mean, if it's the end of the race, you can race hard and try to fill that hole when it opens up. But right now, it's so early. Take what the car will give you. These drivers, they have fresher rubber on it. They're going to be faster, so just take what you can get. Ultimately, he's looking to have a net gain with this move, or worst case, not be further down than he was when everyone else pitted. And I believe he was running in 6th place before that caution came out.
There you go. I guess if it's a case of the fuel will get him a long way, so it's just a matter of how bad will those tires actually be in work and he settle in. And I think there's going to be an opening here behind Papa Kenny.
Yeah, definitely. The fuel in these cars, it's going to get you somewhere around 180 laps into this race. So definitely Brian Johnson, he has no worry about running out of fuel at the moment. What I am concerned about is what I talked about earlier. Oh, look, Brian Neff, he's making that move to the inside of Rex Hoyle up front. Excuse me, that's for the 9th position, but Brian Neff, he is being aggressive trying to come through the field. He was using the apron there, Soup, and that's something that's a little bit sketcy in these cars.
William Martin on the outside, and Neff gets it done. Up only 4 spots now as he lost a little bit during the pit window, a little bit squiggly there. You want yourself a big mover? It's Alan Wanamaker, the number 9, up 7 spots, racing in 7th.
Yeah, this is a good battle that we're watching on screen here. Rex Hoyle there, the 94 Bill Martin, then you got Todd Liston trying to come back in there. So these drivers, they're not, being super aggressive. They're not doing anything that's, dirty as far as holding the driver down, but they're putting on a good show right now, and that's good to see at this point in the race that we still have drivers that are willing to race, but do it very clean.
All right, our leaders have just put a lap on Double Deuce Bruce Pearson. They got a little bit to go before they get to some more drivers. Chris Hazlip seems to be very much off the pace in the 93. He's going to be next to go down another lap, I believe, for Hazlip. He's already down a lap. Is he on the lead lap? He is. Well, he is, actually. Nope, he's not. Well down the order.
Yeah, so right now we are down to 14 drivers on the lead lap, and one driver that we've kind of missed as far as what happened to him, at least I have, Soup, and that's Brian Bianchi. He is 3 laps down in 15th position, so I'm not sure what happened during that pit cycle. If if there was a penalty or something else that happened there, but he's now 3 laps down, and he was one of the drivers up front early.
It was indeed, but looks like he had a 45-second pit stop, so that's either damage or a speeding penalty, right?
Yeah, I would think so. More than likely, that'd make me think that there was damage that he had to get repaired. We missed it if there was, so not sure where that would have happened. But they do have rules here in this series that you do have to take a drive-through penalty for a 13x incident limit. Once you get to 17x, though, you're disqualified. So if any of these drivers are flirting around that 13 mark right now, they've got to be super clean for a long time in this race if they want to be able to finish.
If you get to 17x on an oval, you should be disqualified and have to put your firstborn kid up for adoption. I mean, that's just there's no way that should happen. All right, let's set the table for you. Thomas Ogle, your leader. Jeffrey Isaac, having a very nice run. Started in 7th, up 5 spots. Scott Negus started on the inside of row 3, racing in 3rd right now. Rounding out your top 5, Jeffrey Harden and Papa Kenny Allen.
Oh, and you can see right in front of this leader here, Tom Ogle, we see Luke Logan Allen. He is hanging that car out. He is doing everything he can to try to stay on the lead lap. Right now, he's in that 14th position, the last car that is on the lead lap. Now, he's moved up because he knows that eventually Tom Ogle's going to get to the inside of him anyway, but he's not letting him by. He is racing to stay on that lead lap.
The 1966 rule package makes him staying on the lead lap more important than it usually would be, because boy, you go to a lap down in one of these races, you got to get it back the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, and at this point in the race, and now Luke is 1 lap down, what stinks about that is he's racing nobody at this point. There's nobody else that's a lap down. There are drivers that are more than 1 lap down, but he can essentially go no further up the running order. So he's stuck in that 14th position right now unless something else happens in this race that puts other drivers a lap down.
Okay, let's get a little bit of an insight on the Allen family dynamic. Let's go ahead and look at Ken Allen right now. He is currently in 5th. He is right behind his young son, Luke Logan, who is a lap down. Papa having a hard time getting to the kid. Yes. Oh, Luke's car says, "Hi, Mom." And there he goes. In fear of being grounded, he gets out of the way, and Dad goes through.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for Luke, you know, it's unfortunate he's a lap down now, but he wants to go no further than a lap down, obviously. So if he can sit there and follow his dad around, maybe find something that his dad's doing different than what he's doing, maybe he can find just a little bit of speed that allows him to stay with this front group. That could pay dividends toward the end of this race. He could be able to potentially get himself back on the lead lap if he's able to find that.
My friends and family have told me that I love to be the bearer of bad news. So with that said, Randy Schuler, you've gone a lap down also. And Jeff Lemire goes a lap down. This is fun.
Yeah, so we see on the screen there, that's Alan Wanamaker, and he's getting back going in front of the leaders. That was a 3 wide situation. It was a little hairy, but Wanamaker stays down on the inside. And this is a common deal with iRacing at South Boston. You can have drivers spin out toward the apron of the racetrack, and the caution will not come out. So that is a big, big disappointment for Wanamaker because obviously he's now a lap down.
We're looking at Luke Logan Allen in a battle for cars 1 lap down.
Yeah, Jeffrey Harden's going around also, I believe, in turn 4, and he's going to go ahead and tow his vehicle. So that is going to be a very disappointing night from him after the last time we were here. He came home in 2nd place last time.
Spun it out of turn 4, took it down to pit entry, did not bring out the yellow, and just was not feeling it.
Yeah, these drivers are really struggling. We've gone approximately, a little less than 40 laps since that last pit stop. But these drivers are really struggling. This track is changing, and the drivers are just not adapting as quick as what they need to. So I can tell you that I do not think that this race is going to be easy for even our leaders, because everybody seems to be struggling with it right now. Cars are wiggling all over the place on corner entry, and then they're also getting loose as they apply that throttle. So very, very difficult to get these cars around the track.
Well, if that's the case, let's put the camera on car number 27, racing in 5th position. This is Brian Johnson. Why do we care about him? He's been out there, according to my calculations, 112 laps on that set of tires. You would think that Brian Neff should have easy picking here, but how about what Brian Johnson has done in the Battle of the Bryans, holding Neff back?
Oh, and Wanamaker is sitting on the track sideways on the front stretch. That's going to bring out the caution. So, yeah, if that happens, certainly the caution's going to come out. Not sure what created that, but that's going to give all those drivers that were struggling a little bit of a break here.
9 cars on the lead lap. You can hear the sigh of relief coming from William Martin, who was the last car on the lead lap in the 94. Boys, with only 9 cars on the lead lap, come on in. This is pointless to stay out there. Scott Negus says, I hear you, Soup. So does Kenny Allen.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So these drivers that are on the lead lap that are pitting, I believe that this is a great opportunity, because like you just touched on, Soup, there's only 9 cars left on the lead lap. As we get further into this race, there's going to be less and less cars that could potentially bring out a caution. And that means at some point we're going to have a longer run. So these drivers pitting here, this could set them up perfectly to get to the end of the race.
Oh, I have to do math. 267 minus 116 is 150. Can you get to the end on a tank of fuel from here?
I think if you are lucky enough, because they do have to watch about not going a lap down while they're on pit road. If you're lucky enough to get a full tank of fuel, I think you can do the 150 laps easily. It can be done, because your pace is going to slow down. You're going to increase your fuel mileage a little bit. So definitely can be done. Going to be super tough on tires, but it is doable.
And now I'm going to show you my lack of preparation. Whether to pit or not depends on the rule package. If it is indeed a double file restart with lap cars to the inside, then that's maybe not so bad. But if they're going to line up as they are, and it looks like that's how it works, then those guys who did pit while they may be in like 7th or 8th position, JR, they will be at the back.
Yeah, exactly. And the way the rules are on restarts, it's single file restarts, and you're supposed to maintain your running order. I think one of the reasons that we saw, we're getting ready to go back green here, Sue.
We saw some of those cars that I think were up front, was JR was going to say, that pulled off. They weren't comfortable where they are. Pulling out just in front of the leader is car number 27, came out of pits just in time. That's Brian Johnson, and we got another yellow.
Another yellow out on the Speedway, so we'll see what happens. Johnson, that's a big break for him there, I believe, because he is on the lead lap still.
I think it's Kid Lemon Lime and the 54 of Rex Hoyle. That's a lead lap car, if I'm looking at the right incident.
Yep, that was just a checkup on the restart. That happens at a lot of short tracks, and that's just one of those deals. They dove in there, and yeah, a little bit comical. Overall, these drivers are going to get away with it. I don't think that's going to be enough damage to hurt any of those drivers, but yeah, Luke went into that corner, and there was something happening in front of him. He had to check up, and in return, it's an accordion effect. Rex Hoyle got into the back of him, and then Torrance Childs from way, way back gets involved here. It's just one of those things where he's trying to stop. He thinks he's going to be able to, and then doesn't. It's kind of a deer in the headlight type type thing.
Got to be careful, because that kind of incident will produce little baby tour modifieds if you're not careful. Okay, we're going to go trivia time. Here we go. We got to hurry, because this is caution laps are quick here on Sobo. All right, Jay, I'm going to give you 3 song names. One of them held the Billboard #1 spot in the first week of June of 1966, the year we're playing tribute to. One held the spot 3 years earlier, and another held the spot 3 years later. Now, I'm just going to give you the names. We'll come back and give you the answers a little bit later. Here's your choices. One of the songs is When a Man Loves a Woman by Percy Sledge. It's My Party by Leslie Gore. And Aquarius, Let the Sunshine In by the fifth dimension. We'll come back, give you the answer on our next caution flag. We encourage all you guys in the YouTube chat to go ahead and post your answer. Don't be thinking about it, JR. You got to keep working here. Just don't. I can hear your little.
I'm worried.
Your mind's working there on that one. Don't worry, I can give you a clue when we come back. If you need to, I'll be happy to sing the chorus, the hook for you to help you out there. All right. Everybody staying out there working lap number 64 on this set of tires are the front three, Ogle, Isaac, and Neff. Oh, my goodness. That didn't give you long to think of the answer. This one was Neff. Oh, my goodness. Brian Bianchi. That's just not nice.
Yeah, that, you know, it's a little difficult to tell, you know, from that side, you know, it definitely looks like Bianchi was able to send it on in there. But at the same time, I think from a different view, you may see that Bianchi felt like he was to the inside of Neff. And yeah, from that view, I think Bianchi feels like the iRacing spotter is calling him inside, and I'm not sure that Brian Neff agreed with that and tried to turn down to the track, and then that's why the contact was made. There's two drivers ultimately going for the same position.
Okay. Take a look here to see who we can talk to. Is Negus available as we scroll through there? Looking through. Oh, we got him. Scott, is Soup up in the booth? You got us? Got a copy?
I got you, big guy.
All right. What's the tire strategy here, man?
Put as many right sides on as you can.
Got it. You just came in last time. You know the guys in front of you are on some old rubber.
I know, they were just talking on Discord about that. It doesn't mean nothing with those two. They're still faster than me with fresher tires.
All right, go get them. Oh, do you think you can get to the end from here on fuel?
Yes.
Yes. All right. I'm not sure if that was confident or you just giving an answer because you hadn't thought about it. All right. Good luck, man.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
What do you think that was, JR? Was that maybe him looking at his numbers? Think that's what that was?
Yeah, I think he wasn't sure, and he went and pulled his box up and looked at it. I don't blame him. That's good information to have there.
See? We like to help him out. Okay, we're going green. Working lap 128. Of those 128 laps, Thomas Ogle has led 120 of them. Jerry Isaac right on his tail right now. Now there's Brian Bianchi. He is 3 laps down. The 14 is not really in the mix. The man fourth in line, Scott Negus, is. Remember, he's got that fresh rubber. Only 15 laps on the right sides.
Yeah, and you know, if I'm Jerry Isaacs or Tom Ogle, once Brian gets behind me, I'm probably going to actually try to move out of the way because he's carrying a ton of speed. He's been up front the entire race. Now he's laps down. So he's going to be fighting hard to try to get some of these laps back, and I don't want to be in the position to where potential contact could be made against somebody I'm not even racing for position. So I do think they're going to have to be a little bit smart about this if he gets any closer to them.
Real quick, 2 cars I want to talk about. Car number 94 in 8th position, William Martin. He has sneakily been able to hang on to the lead lap. He's only got 1 car behind him on the lead lap. Somehow Brian Neff was able to come in and get some work done, and he races in 9th. About 4 car lengths behind Martin right now. Above those guys, Liston, Johnson, Hoyle, Allen, Negus. And then we get up to Isaac and Kugels, all on this lead lap. What's interesting, we have a lot of battles out there now, but they're not really for position. Let's look at Brian Johnson in the 27. This is exciting, but it's not for a spot. He's trying to get under Jeff Lemire. Lemire, first car 1 lap down in 10th.
Yeah, and the good thing from Lemire here is that the car he's racing is going to be Luke Logan, and we don't see him in the frame right there in that screenshot. So Lemire can give up these positions to those lead lap cars. He doesn't have to fight them too hard. But the one thing he doesn't want to do is lose that ground to Luke Logan. So he's not going to just pull over for these drivers, but he's also not going to race them real hard here.
JR, give me your honest opinion about this one. I'll give you mine. I'm telling you right now, I don't know if I like no lucky dog every race we call, but it is refreshing to see cars going a lap down. It seems to be so much more significant when they lose that lap because it's so hard to come back from it. Maybe if we did it all the time, and maybe I'll regret it another 100 laps around when Thomas Ogle is the only car on the lead lap. But right now, it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those type of situations where, you know, a lot of races, a lot of leagues we look at, you can make mistakes early in a race, especially in a race this long, and then you can be back in the hunt at the end. Well, not being able to get that lucky dog or wave around, that essentially means that you cannot make mistakes from the very beginning of this race, and that is the old school type mentality. It was all about consistency, not making those mistakes. So it's different from what these drivers are kind of used to, and it adds a new dynamic to it.
It really does, and even for guys who might be racing up front, for instance, if Isaac were to get to Oval, they might be having fun, but boy, if they were to get together, it'd be hard for them to stay on the lead lap. With that said, Scott Negus, with those new right sides, is all over the back of Isaac. On him like a new pair of shoes on a rainy day is Negus on Isaac.
Well, he knows he can make it the rest of the way on fuel, so he's trying to burn some of it off right now. That's what he's trying to do. But, yeah, definitely, you want to take advantage of those tires. If you end up having a fresher set than the drivers around you, you want to take advantage of them early because there will come a time where these tires will equalize. Once all the temperatures come fully up to racing conditions, that is when old tires versus new tires, there's not that big of a difference in lap time. And ultimately, you've got to have a little bit of a lap time advantage on the car around you to get, you know, that advantage up off the corner to try to make the pass. Got to be about 1 to 2 tenths of a second faster to make an easy pass.
So the cars go a little bit single file, and I know you're probably laughing at me for thinking that this thing could go green all the way through, but really sometimes the nature of these races, when we get to these, they can go green for a long time. The only thing against that is that to go green for a long time, you're going to have guys racing out there on some really old rubber. And that's inducive for yellows.
Yeah, it definitely is. The good thing about that is that the two drivers that have been out there the longest, they're the two that are up front. They have a good handling on that. We spoke about it earlier when others were struggling. They weren't showing those signs yet. But the last time that they came in was back on lap 69.
Right.
These other drivers behind them, lap 115. So that's a big difference. We'll start to see if these leaders start to struggle a little bit, Ogle and Isaacs.
Well, the reason I bring up the green flag run is because if you're Ogle or Isaacs, you got to be a little bit worried. You've been out there for 80 laps. You're not going to be able to get to the end on fuel, which the last thing you want is to make a green flag pit stop when you are the dominant car.
Yeah,
And
that's a huge point because those are the two drivers that we know for sure cannot make it. And right now we kind of got a green field going to this race. Yep.
And you say, come on, Soup, we're still 116 laps away. Well, we've seen things go green flag. And especially when they get single file like this and the cars get stretched out a little bit, guys get in their rhythm. Oh, with that said, in the wall goes to the 14 of Bianchi. Bianchi is just having a Tuesday night. He wish he would have stayed home and turned on Netflix, I think. He gets it going straight, put it in the inside wall.
Yeah, he's definitely not having a night that he wants. He had been moving previously up in the point standings. He had made it back up into 8th place after having some bad runs. He definitely wanted to have a good run here, but I talked about it a little bit earlier. This is the type of race. Sometimes championships are decided in your worst nights. So if you can continue on struggling, maybe you can gain a few more points before this is over with.
We tell you another story. Let's go to the 60 of Brian Neff. I keep trying to throw this guy out of the mix. Well, last time we talked about it, he was racing in 9th. He made his way around William Martin. And he continues to race on the lead lap. Yeah, he's a long way back. But in poker, you got a chip and a chair, you're still in the hunt. That's what he's got right now.
Yeah, Soup, he's turning lap time slightly faster than our leader at the moment, too. So, really the only car that is faster than him out there would be Jerry Isaacs that's in 2nd place. So, Neff's got good speed in that car. He just needs some track position to go with it right now. He's getting back up there.
Nice to see Isaac keeping the pressure on Ogle. Let's go up to our leader real quick. He just made his way around Double Deuce Bruce Pearson. Pearson now goes 17 laps down. Tip of the hat to Bruce. 17 laps down, you're out there still cycling around, baby. Well done. That is somebody who likes to sim race.
Yeah, it's difficult to describe to those that aren't involved or don't do the sim racing side of things. A track like this is super tough to begin with, but trying to do 267 laps around the place in a car that is hard to drive like this Tour Modified is very difficult. It's very fatiguing, not only because you're turning left most of the time, the straightaways are so short, but you're also mentally exhausted because what we see on screen right there, Luke Logan Allen trying to make a pass, and you see how much that car is sliding around on him. That will be mentally exhausting on you as you go throughout this race, and eventually there's probably going to be a mistake from it.
So we've talked about how the cars are spread out, but really, the best battle, if we look at Jerry Isaacs, he's lost touch with Ogle. But he races in 2nd. He's got Negus right behind him, and not too far back is Papa Kenny Allen. That's a battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And honestly, Isaac is on that strategy with Ogle. They've been out there for 96 laps. There eventually will be a pit stop for fuel if we stay green. It'll be a green flag stop. Oh my goodness. JR, even if it's a yellow flag stop, a caution flag stop, maybe Negus and Allen stay out. Maybe, do you think that fuel will be enough, that Negus and Allen won't need as much fuel as Ogle and Isaac? Do you think that's enough? Maybe that they
Yeah, I agree that it is going to be enough, but yeah, it got the leader. So yeah, we talked about it earlier. So we actually saw Brian Neff get spun down to the apron. I'm not sure that Neff understood that the caution was not out. He tried to come back onto the speedway and get spun around, and Tom Ogle was coming around, and you cannot, the vision in these cars is not something that you can see early enough to avoid it. Tom Ogle saw it, tried to go up the track last second, but ultimately Ogle is going to have suspension damage. I'm watching it right now. His left front suspension is gone, so he's got no faster pair. His night's going to be over with, guys.
Oh my goodness, Brian Neff. You can take the kid out of the desert, but you can't take the desert out of the kid.
Yeah, and you see the contact there, and you could see immediately when he hit that wall, when the car finally landed and he hit the wall, his hands on the steering wheel turned. That was not just from the force of the impact, that was actually the suspension damage. That's where the suspension gave way, and essentially the steering wheel gets light. So yeah, Tom Ogle is not going to be thrilled with that. He dominated this race, was the clear favorite to win. And yeah, it's just something that was out of his hands. There's no way that he could have known what was going to happen once he got to that corner.
Well, if the fastest car won every week, there'd be no reason to watch. Isaac and Allen are going to be first out of pit lane. William Martin, for some Lord-forsaken reason, has stayed out.
He stayed out. Now, he last pitted on lap 120, so he's going to have tires that are, 49 laps older. And that's not a huge difference, but it's going to be enough that once we go green here, if he's not able to hold that lead for the first 5 to 10 laps, these drivers are going to be able to pick him off very easily until those tire temps, like I talked about, come up and equal the tires out. So Gonna be a little bit tough for him, but maybe he's not expecting to hold that lead. Maybe he's just trying to get a little bit of a net gain here.
Well, he was racing in 9th position on the last car on the lead lap. I think he's thinking the best I was ever going to get is 9th position, maybe best last car on the lead lap. So let's go up, get a little love from Soup and JR. Little screen time for Mom and Dad. I've got a cushion, I think, behind me of Torrance Childs before Jerry Isaac gets to me, so that'll help me a little bit. And I got enough fuel to get to the end. Let's just stay out.
Yeah, and we're going green here, but he's ran a great race. I believe he's only had one top 10 up to this point. Hasn't ran all of the races, but he's had a super nice run here tonight so far.
Oh, to Martin's miscomfort, Jerry, Isaac, and Alan get around the lap car as it pulled around. So now, here comes Isaac. Here comes Alan. And boy, things have really worked out well for Jerry Isaac. Before that yellow came out, he was looking at having to make a green flag stop, but now he's feeling much better. Okay, we're going to watch this. It's not going to take long. A pass for the lead. Oh, he closes them down. He turns the leader, and Isaac goes around too.
Yeah.
Oh, no, and they keep plowing in like the Blues Brothers. One car is on his hood. The 29 of David Bottoms is in there as well, and I'm not sure who's upside down.
Yeah, the car upside down, I couldn't catch it either, but towed back to the pits before we could catch that number. But yeah, I saw this the corner before. You know, Martin was trying to do, he's on older tires. He's trying to take a late entry and then come off with a straight exit. But what that does is that opens up that entry, and the drivers with new tires, they can fill that corner without trying to be aggressive. Isaacs did that, and in return contact was made. And when Isaacs checked up, Kenny Allen had nowhere to go, and that sent Isaacs up the track. He looks like he's got suspension damage. Negus gets involved. I'm sure he's going to have suspension damage from that, and I believe that was Baton that went up and over on the lid there.
Oh, my goodness. Baton went Baton up on that one. Luke, go ahead.
No, sorry. So we thought that this was going to kind of be a boring race, you know, there for a while as far as who was going to be finishing where and whether or not drivers were going to be able to make up positions. But now this has kind of changed the whole look of the race. We've got drivers that have not been up here that are now up here, and also those drivers that are lapped down, like you were going to talk about Luke, Logan, Allen, they now have opportunities to move way up the running order here.
Opportunities. They have opportunities to the win with only 7 cars on the lead lap and attrition being what it is. They may get there. Okay, here's the quick answer to your trivia question. When a man loves a woman, Percy Sledge, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to. Leslie Gore, or it is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. All right, let the sun shine in the 5th dimension. JR, which song was a hit in 1966?
Oh, man. I don't know. I'll just go with the last one there, Soup. I'm out of my element here.
No, I'm sorry. It was indeed When a Man Loves a Woman, but that's all right, JR.
All right.
We got another one coming a little bit later. Don't think we'll have time for it. We go green. Oh, my goodness. Luke, Logan, Allen, Kid Lemon Lion, no school tomorrow, play hooky. Daddy's out in front. The number 81 of Kenny Allen is out in front, but he's being chased by Jerry Isaac. Even though Isaac was involved in that incident, he's still able to race out there. Don't know how healthy the 51 is right now. It looks pretty good from this angle. Brian Johnson, remember him? He's having a hard time staying up with the leaders, but he is in third with nobody between him and the 2 guys he's chasing.
Yeah, so definitely we essentially only have 7 cars on the lead lap here. And we see these drivers that were involved in some of the incident earlier, they're able to continue. So a little bit surprised by that. Doesn't look like they have a whole lot of damage. You see the Nerf bars kind of bent up on those vehicles, but that doesn't matter. As long as that suspension is good, we can continue on.
Looking there at Scott Negus in a nice little battle. Glad you are with us. We are in the closing 80 laps. Boy, 80 laps seems so far. So much can happen. So much has already happened.
Yeah, and you know, you talked about earlier, we see Ken Allen, he's out in front there. We talked about him kind of falling back a little bit earlier in this race, but I think Ken had more speed than what he was really showing at that point. He knows how these races go, especially these long ones that are 267 laps in length. He knows what's going on there, but I don't think he's showing his full lap time potential right now. If you look back there, Jerry Isaacs has left front suspension damage. That left front tire is turned in. Now, we primarily use the right side tires, and that's why he's making good ground around here. But eventually, that left side tire is going to wear out, and that will affect his handling. I'm kind of surprised he's running the lap times that he is like that, but that just kind of goes to show you how critical the right side tires were. That's why drivers were not worried at all about taking 4 tires in the pits. They were only changing those right side tires here tonight.
Talk about doing stuff to get your car to rotate. That's one way to get it to turn.
You know, the bad thing, Soup, is that we talk about these cars being, loose on corner entry. We've seen a lot of guys lose it under braking tonight, but with Jerry Isaacs like that, he's not going to have any problem with stability on corner entry. He can throw that thing in there, and that's what I was seeing a minute ago. He's making up a ton of time on corner entry.
I wonder if he knows. Can we get an onboard camera? I'm not sure if you're able actually to see the left front. Oh, did you? We just saw it. Very nice. He's got to probably know what's going on. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure. I haven't looked at it, but I'm sure his steering wheel is offset from where it was earlier. That's just going to be difficult. He's going to have to put more wheel into it through the corners, which in return, even if he doesn't wear that left side tire out, it's going to kill his right side tires because he's having to put more wheel in it through the corner. So he may have some speed right now, but that speed's going to diminish as we go further.
Let me pull back the curtain a little bit on commentating here on BGN. There is nothing worse than getting to the end of the race and finding a driver up there that you haven't paid attention to, and all of a sudden he's there and you say, well, why didn't I see that coming? Let's quickly put the camera on number 87, Todd Liston. Here's a sleeper. Liston is notoriously quick in these cars. He has a ton of experience. He has been racing up front very much, but honestly, Liston is a sharp guy. There's no reason to race hard for 267 laps until we get down to the final, 50 maybe. So keep an eye on Todd Liston. A yellow flag, he's up there racing. Isaac has problems. Johnson, I don't think is that fast. Niga isn't quick, but he's had some issues. Would not be surprised if the man who coined the phrase consistency finds himself the winner tonight when it's all said and done.
Yeah, Todd is extremely good at that type of racing. He's, like you said, a driver that you won't talk about, and then he shows up at the end. That's because he's taking care of his stuff, and he's viewing what other drivers are doing, where they're struggling, and he's not going to worry about it until toward the end of the race. So him being this far up at this point, that is not going to be good for the competition. And the thing is, he's also trying to look to make up ground in the point standings.
A pass for the lead. Oh, he's got to do it while that tire is still on the car right now. Jerry Isaac gets to the inside. I think Kenny Allen says, go on by, my friend. We got 67 more laps to race. I'll see you down the road.
Yeah, I think Ken knows the situation there, and he doesn't want to be around that car if it does something weird. But I think the advantage at the moment right now is what I talked about, that corner entry. So Ken cannot carry the speed on corner entry, nor can anybody else, but that damage on the 51's allowing him to have good turn on corner entry stability more than anything. And I think that's what's helping him right now. But we talked about it. It's got to be killing his tires. So at some point before the end of this race, I would expect Ken Allen to have the advantage.
JR, I'll be honest with you. I've never been able to race a car long enough where the tires go before I put it in the wall. Will a tire actually blow, or will it just get so undrivable for Isaac?
Oh, it can blow. The potential for it to blow is there. I've done it before. So you can blow tires, and when you do, the car usually becomes pretty unstable to where you can't really tell what it's doing. So it's one of the things that can happen, but I'm super surprised that Isaac has made this work as long as he has. I'm to the point where I'm thinking about breaking my left front suspension next time I'm out on track.
All right, now we're looking at Scott Negus. That's another driver to keep an eye on. He races in 4th position right now. And the man ahead of him is Brian Johnson. Tip the hat to the 27. Boy, that car has been up and down, has had its issues. But Brian has managed to stay on the lead lap and having a good run. Started in 11th, racing in 3rd. Negus started in 5th, racing a spot up from there. My goodness, has Kenny Allen's car given up on him? Because here comes Johnson and Negus. And he looks horrible, JR. 81 looks just awful, in my opinion.
He does, and I really thought that he was saving some of that speed there, but at this point, you know, if you're falling back into the clutches of drivers that don't have damage, obviously something's going on. You don't have the speed that was anticipated. So Brian Johnson looks like he's in a great spot right now. Obviously, Negus is right behind him. But if those two drivers can make their way around Allen, they've got a great opportunity to go get the win here, because I know Isaacs, he's got speed right now, but I have to think that that speed's going to go away in the closing laps.
I got to trust my partner on that one. All right, so let's stay on this battle for second position for as long as it lasts. Kenny Allen, I'm soon, is going to find himself in fourth. Oh, my goodness, that is Johnson getting the car very loose.
Yeah, and that was a great shot, because it shows, and he's trying to get his nose to the inside, and it's just so hard to stay down there on corner exit and carry that speed. But he's getting to the inside of Ken Allen here, but that shot shows how hard these drivers are having to work these cars right now. They're not just turning to the left and holding that steering wheel. They're having to move it back and forth to keep that rear end underneath.
Oh, and Allen gets very, very loose, almost puts it on the wall, finally surrenders Casper and lets Johnson and Negus go by. So now we want to look back at how far back is Liston, and he's within shouting distance. He's a long putt away from Kenny Allen. Meanwhile, driving away with it, left front be darned, Jerry Isaac.
Yeah, so, last time by, Isaacs did run the fastest lap. Now, it's marginal between Johnson and Negus. They're very, very close to the same lap time, so we'll kind of keep an eye on this the next 10 or 15 laps. But I would hope to goodness that the second and third place cars start to pick up time versus Isaacs, because that's what Isaacs is doing out there. It's impressive.
Let's go ahead and mark the distance, all you little soldiers in Soup's clipboard army, between Kenny Allen and Todd Liston. The interval is about 7 seconds right now. We'll keep an eye and see if Liston can close that down a bit. Let's quickly look at the 94. One more shout out to William Martin. Oh my goodness. Back markers around the country cheering William Martin for having just a great run. Just staying out there on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Ultimately, he's ran a very clean race. There was that incident with Isaacs a little bit where the two drivers were going for the same spot, and Martin was on older tires. But other than that, I mean, you can see his car is clean. So he's ran a very good race. He's had a hard time trying to find these good races. He's been caught up in a lot of stuff that I think wasn't his doing. But tonight, he's got a good run going for it. And this is what you need. Sometimes you just need these good races, these good runs to kind of get that momentum on your side, and then it starts to carry over from race to race.
I'm telling you, the racing gods listen to the broadcast, because you just heard my partner talked about Martin getting involved with Isaac, and Isaac was just closing in on him, about to lap him. But right now, the caution comes out. Kid Lemon Lime! Luke Logan Allen. Is that a self-spin? Looks like it.
Yeah, just a little bit of over acceleration on corner exit there, and that's another good shot. You're starting to see all those marbles. Not only are we getting marbles to the top side of the track, you're getting a lot of marbles down on the bottom. So if you touch that apron a little bit, or you get a little bit too high in the corner now, you're going to get into those marbles, and the car will do what you see there. It will come around on you quickly.
All right, JR. Isaac is in. Can they fix that left front? Can that be repaired, do you think?
Nah, he's not going to have enough time to be able to set on pit road. He would be many laps down before that front suspension looked any different, but you can see there he's indeed taking 4 tires because I think he realizes how much damage he has done to those tires, even though he was fast. So he's going to go ahead and take the 4 tires and live to race another day here.
Well, let's hang on a minute. The car was pretty quick. The only problem with the car was it was going to run out of tires. Well, he solved the run out of rubber issue with, well, at least for about 60 laps or 40 laps to go here. He can still win this thing.
Yeah, he definitely can still win it. The top 7 cars, they're all on the lead lap. Everybody has pitted now, so it's a straight up race at this point. But I've got to think Isaac's decision to take the 4 tires there really came down to him when he come down pit road. You can open up your black box in your settings there while you're on pit road, and it'll tell you the tire wear. And I got to think he did not like what his tire wear looked like. So that was probably the decision, taking the 4 tires versus the 2.
Now, if I look at this, is there one car on the lead lap? If we look at car number 15, Jeff Lemire, is he on the lead lap? He is indeed. He is not on the lead lap. Okay, we'll get the officialness that as he's pulled off to the inside and as they circle around my iRacing timing and scoring. He's the lead first car 1 lap down, and he stayed out to get that track position. And some things, death, taxes, and William Martin being the last car on the lead lap, things you can count on. The pace car pulls in. We've got ourselves a sprint to the finish.
Yeah, they've extended the caution here. I think they're trying to get the running order figured back out before we go green here, so they keep extending the caution for that, but I think we'll be able to go green this next time by.
Well, that's good, because it's let me go ahead and give a sponsor plug in for one of our sponsors. For man-sized pleasure, this is the one. Get Pleasure Falstaff style, the most refreshing beer a thirsty man can pour, light enough to leave room for more. Premium quality Falstaff beer. Now the pace car is in, the plug has been done, and we're going green.
Now Brian Johnson got a great restart there from the front, but Negus is going to be charging hard. Only about 37, 38 laps to go here. He's got to make something happen soon. We talked about the tires equalizing. Got to make these passes while the tires are fresh and you can move around.
Kenny Allen was fast, but he might have used up his rubber, and we saw him fading. Well, new pit stop, that may have helped that issue. And the man we talked about in 4th, the number 87, Todd Liston. And now, can we keep an eye on Jerry Isaacs? Let's see if he can stay up with these guys. When all things being equal, it's not working this time. Isaac is struggling.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling at this point. A little bit odd, but it's one of those things. I've never seen a car that has that much damage. I think it's probably a little bit unpredictable to him. And the fact that he took tires, he's probably having to relearn how to drive that thing versus where it was on the tire wear earlier.
Well, he probably has grip on that left front, which is probably bothering him. He needs that tire to wear down a bit. Could it possibly be that Jerry Isaacs' car is going to be faster on the long run? Oh, stick around. Johnson, Negus, Allen, and Liston. 6 cars on the lead lap. Jerry Isaac with the left front that's pointing in the wrong direction, and William Martin.
Yeah, and right now, Soup, I mean, we're shaping up to have a potential first-time winner here. I mean, our first 2, Brian Johnson, Scott Negus, they have not won a race this season. So this could be an opportunity for them. Ken Allen, he's got one back there. He does have a win, but further back, Todd Liston in 4th place, he does not have that win. So 3 of your top 4 drivers there, they're looking for their first win this season.
Staying on that battle there, that's Liston and Allen. And Liston picks up the spot.
Yeah, so now your top 3, those are drivers going for their first win this season.
don't need to go there, but I want to give a tip of the hat to the strategy call from Jeff Lemire. He's the only car 1 lap down. He just decided to stay out there on 68 lap old tires. He's not going to be very fast, but he has a 1 lap cushion. I think he's in real good shape to finish 7th. I just don't see any way he could not. So well done, Jeff.
Yeah, and that's what it takes. I mean, early on when he went a lap down, I believe he was as far down as like 17th or 18th. So this is a huge gain. That's 10 positions.
Yeah.
In the points, that means a lot.
Well, VGN prides itself on covering the battles all through the field, and we'll try to do that. But right now, we're going to keep our attention on the battles that matter the most. And as we say that, Jerry Isaacs, my goodness, gets around Kenny Allen. Allen, I wish I could talk to him. There's just something not right in the 81.
Yeah, there's just not tonight, but he's continuing to battle on. I mean, right now he's set up for a top 5 position, so that's an overall good night, especially in the points. But Isaac's up in front. He's starting to make up some ground, trying to watch some lap times to see where he's running. He's running near identical lap times to our leaders. That's not going to be enough to get him there, obviously. He's going to have to pick it up more if he wants a shot. But this last time by, he was actually slightly faster, or excuse me, slightly slower than our leader. So it just does not look like he has the same pace he had before the pit stops.
Well, I don't know. I think that car's going to come to him as the tires get older. Let's look at the leader right now because he has some negotiating to do. That is the veteran Chris Hazlip, who's racing in 13th spot, gets out of the way. So Johnson gets through, as does Negus. Now there's the 2. And then let's watch, look at the top of the screen. When they come around here, you'll be able to see Liston. Not the first car back. Oh, just out of the, there he is. He's still there.
Yeah, Liston is faster than our leaders right now, for sure. He's chasing them down now. He's got to get by Chris Hazlip here pretty quick without being held up. You see Todd get a little bit loose, twitchy on exit there, but Hazlip's going to give him room down in the corner, so he'll make that pass. Now he's got to start chasing down our leaders, and he's about 1.5 seconds back, a little bit less at this point.
Might be the case of a yellow, and this is a tough position for Liston because he's really torn between 2 different strategies. To use up his stuff and try to run the guys down and maybe not have anything when you get there, or to sit back there and just wait, save your stuff, and hope that a yellow will make up the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Liston's going to try to push. Now, the big thing, the big picture thing that we haven't really talked about, Liston came into this race 3rd place in points. He was 18 points out behind Tom Ogle. This is a big points night for him. So even if he gets there, I don't think he's going to do anything aggressive because he wants to make sure that he comes away with a podium-style finish. The only other driver that he's really racing right now would be Ken Allen and Brian Johnson. They're within 3 points of one another, so he does want to keep close to them. He doesn't want to ruin what he's got going on.
Leaders go under Alan Wanamaker. Liston will be doing that soon, and without checking the tower, just doing it from eyeballs, Liston is coming.
Yeah, he was a 1/10.5 faster the last time by. This time by, he does it by another 1/2 of a tenth. So he's moving in on our leaders here, and he is down to about a 1 second gap where it was about 1.5 seconds a little while ago.
Let's look at Kid Lemon Lime, number 6, Luke Logan Allen. He's in a battle right now with the 31. That is Randy Schuler. Those cars are several laps down. Luckily, they get that sorted out because that could be Negus' bed. Now, Negus is right on the back now of Johnson.
Yeah, and this is what, when you catch the lap traffic, it opens up opportunities for the driver that is in 2nd place. I always hate as a leader when you got somebody right behind you and you catch that traffic because it's the smallest checkup that can open up that opportunity for Negus here. So Negus he's pulled in closer for that very reason. He knows that it's hard to make a pass, but this might be the time to do it.
And we're running out of laps, getting on lap number 259, and poor Scott Negus, he has to race with one eye on Brian Johnson trying to run him down and the other eye on Todd Liston, who is a-coming.
Yeah, he is in the screenshot there. You see him right to the far right, so he is slowly inching into this race. The laps are running out. We're coming to 7 to go. You see Negus there. I like that move. Negus has decided he's going to start working the high side of the track to make something happen, trying to get to the outside of Brian Johnson. He's going to do it.
He gets to the outside, and there's some lap cars ahead. They are side by side. Now Negus with the momentum on the outside. New leader from Canada, Scott Negus. Can he finish it? Yes, he can. Now he's got lap cars to worry about in front, and here comes Liston in the mix. It's a 3-car battle for the lead with 2 blockers in front.
Yeah, and we don't talk about downforce a whole lot, especially on short tracks, but it does come into play a little bit, especially as we get deeper into the run. So when you got a car ahead of you, like these lap cars, it does take some of that air off. Now you see Luke Logan, he's going to move up out of the way. That actually slows Brian Johnson down a little bit.
Brian Johnson gets into the back of Luke Logan. That's going to slow him down, bring him to the clutches of Liston, and that's going to let the Canadian, the Maple Leafer, Dudley Do-Right, race away with this one. Huge lead for Scott Negus.
Yeah, and I think that we had seen it earlier in the race too. Scott had a better long run pace compared to Brian. So I think it was a matter of time. But the big thing that made that happen is that Scott started to look around. He started to search for other lines, and he was able to get to the outside. And once you're to the outside of somebody here, it's hard to not get that past me.
Coming out of corner number 4. We talked about him in the pre-race show. One of your commentators picked him to be the winner. Scott Negus wins.
A wreck behind, sorry, Soup, for second place as they came across the line. Todd Liston and Brian Johnson going for it there, and Todd Liston's actually going to come away with that second place finish.
We'll see if we can get a look at this one before we go to break. Brian Johnson got loose right in front of Liston, and Liston just used the cow catcher to power his way to the start-finish line. We'll stick around for a minute while our director brings it up. Here you go, Liston trailing. Look at Johnson get loose, sends him off, and Liston gets through. And that other car in it was Jerry Isaac as well. A little more damage to the front of the 51 for Jerry Isaac. Oh, moly! Sweet sassy Molassie, this was a fun one. The racing's over. Our broadcast is now. We'll take a short break. We'll come back, run down the entire finishing order before we put a lock in the gate. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. From South Boston Speedway, this is the Virtual Grip Network's live as it happens coverage of the Yesteryear Racing, where past meets the present. The Old Dominion 267. Glad you are here with us. The results are in right now. Let's give them to you. Well, he started in 5th position. He waited. He took his time. He raced up front, made his move when he had to. He only led 7 laps, but they were the last 7. We're talking about Canadian Scott Negus, who gets the win. Todd Liston. Boy, a great points day for him. Not the win, but a wonderful step towards that old red boot. Brian Johnson started 11th. Some great strategy. He'll get that final podium spot. There's a whole lot of talk going on about the magic, the Faustian magic of Jerry Isaacs. Is he able to make that car go fast, even though the left front was pointing, towards Oregon? Kenny Allen will come home in 5th. The car just didn't feel right at the end. Last car on the lead lap. Tip of the hat, William Martin. Well done. I'm going to finish out these last 4 in the top 10. Jeff Lemire will be the middle car 1 lap down. Brian Bianchi had a quiet night. Luke Logan Allen, and running out your top 10, Alan Wanamaker. JR?
Yeah, coming home in 11th place tonight, we got Randy Schuler. Rex Hoyle, he'll come home in 12th. Chris Hazlip, he hangs in there from having a bad race, finishes 13th place. Bruce Pearson comes home in 14th. Torrance Childs, he'll come home in 15th place. And Tom Ogle, the big story there, he'll come home in 16th place tonight after leading 159 laps of this race. Big disappointment. Dave Batone, he'll come home in 17th place. Brian Neff, 18th place. Jeffrey Harden, 19th. And Tom Hilbert, he'll come home in 20th.
Tom Hilbert, 200 laps down. Big brother Steve, 299 laps down as he hits blackjack. Then there was John Hastings and Lloyd Moore, who did not take the grid. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and get to the interviews right now. I get the honor of talking to him. We talked to him during the race. Now we get to talk to him after the race. Scott Negus, you bided your time, only led 7 laps, but they were the last 7. Well done.
I appreciate it, buddy. It was tough.
Tell me the difference, just physical-wise. You're a young man, but 267 laps, it's got to take a little bit of a toll on the body.
It does. By no means am I a young man, Soup. I'm in my 50s.
Okay. Well, it's all relative.
But yeah, no, I've done a lot of long races. We've in this particular series. I mean, we did 300 laps at Nashville, which was taxing for sure. So it's I've got about 5 or 6 fans here in my setup, and trying to keep keep me cool, and just trying to stay out of trouble.
All right. Well, as I get to broadcast all those bootleg racing leagues, it's nice to see you get one for that league. Well done, buddy. We'll see you down the road. Congratulations on the win.
I appreciate it, buddy, and I appreciate everything that this Yesteryear League's doing, and VGN, and I love this format. I absolutely love it, the historic properties of it. So thanks very much.
Before you go, we were talking about it during the broadcast. It is really intriguing to watch. No lucky dog, no wave around. It really is old school. It gives you that old school flavor. 6 cars on the lead lap.
And I'll tell you, it takes a lot more strategy than you think. Believe me.
I think it does. All right, Scott. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Scott Negus. And I agree with Scott. I had a blast calling this one. This was fun. All right, Jay, who you got?
All right, I got Todd Liston. Todd, man, congratulations coming home in 2nd place here tonight. I want to ask you a couple of things. First off, we didn't talk about you a whole lot early in the race, and I know why. So talk about how you methodically came through this field, but also how tough was it to drive these cars around that hot track tonight?
Oh man, these cars ate the rear end off real quick. They could get slick if you were putting it down aggressive. My plan was just try to keep it under me and let everybody kind of get antsy on their own. It kind of worked out somewhat. What I was expecting is that there would be some attrition down the line. So it was mostly stay clear of that, try to strategize when I'm getting my tires so that I'm in the right place with the right tires that I want. If you're farther back than, so far, you can only change one side tires, but we just tried to hang in there till the end, see where we were at.
did a great job tonight, and ultimately it's going to pay big dividends for you in the points. I know that's something you've been kind of keeping an eye on off and on. So you carry momentum into the next race, but you got a summer break. So you guys are going to be off until the end of August. But when you come back, you come to Stafford Speedway, do 100 laps. What are your thoughts going there with this car?
I'm kind of mixed on Stafford. Some days they seem to do okay, and some days they don't. But I think it'll be fun either way. This is a great group of guys. Just like all night tonight showed you. I mean, we're all pretty respectful here, and a good group of mix of great leagues that are all involved.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, congratulations on that second place run, and enjoy the summer break here. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, JR.
All right, Soup. That was Todd Liston. He's our second place finisher tonight. Who do you have down there now?
I have a man who led 46 laps, didn't get the win, came across the line there kind of sideways at the end. Has to field Brian Johnson. You didn't get the win, but you had to have fun. It was a good race.
Boy, am I glad to be talking to you.
It was they were coming from all sides, man. You raced a lot of people.
I was driving my butt off there at the end.
Were you aware one of the drivers out there, Jerry Isaacs, I can't imagine that you could realize Jerry had the left front wheel turned, it was banged up and turned in toward pit lane at quite an angle. Somehow he was fast, and at the end he was coming.
Yeah, for me there was actually two other drivers that had their left front tires bent like that as well.
How was your car? Were you clean?
Right up until the end.
Right up until the end. Got it. Well, it was fun to watch a race. You were up front for a while. Got a lot of screen time, man. Good pit stop strategy. Well done. We'll see you down the road. Enjoy the break.
Thank you.
Brian Johnson, your third place finisher tonight. All right, we're going to bring up when we're going to do this again. Now, this usually I don't talk about this, but you want to scroll all the way down. I don't know where it is, but we're going to be a long way away before we're back for this one. And, June 10th, there, Mid-Ohio is where we're going. Okay, thank you, Director. Meanwhile, I had a fun time doing this one. Indeed, as Todd Liston said, it was kind of a mix of a lot of series, almost like a super major IROC series where you have all the guys coming in. All those broadcasts, future ones, past ones, all the production of the Virtual Grip Network. Now, those are all the people that make this possible. On their behalf, I'd like to say thank you for watching. We'll try to do better next time. Until then, have fun storming the castle.